Do you want to make money doing what you love online, but you have no idea what that is? Or maybe you love a lot of things, or you don't love anything enough to want to do it every day. Maybe you just want to make money. The truth is, whatever your motivation, whatever it is you end up doing, at least to get your first project off the ground, because once you do one thing and it starts making money, then you can have enough money to pay people to do other projects for you that you don't have to be so hands-on with. But for your first money-making thing, whatever it is, probably it's going to be a combination of things. You probably feel like you have to narrow it down to one niche, right? And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of no niche people, a lot of people who become their own niche, and that's fine. Even if you're a no niche person, maybe you just have no idea where to start. How would you even become your own niche? I have a theory. I'm Liz Jones. I've had success online in various forms, including being a best-selling author. And I gave up that career because it was like being trapped in a golden prison. And I know that sounds like a great place to be, or you can also call it golden handcuffs. I started out doing it because I loved it, and it actually triggered PTSD. Because I might put this on YouTube, and I don't want to be censored, there are certain things I'm not going to say. But there should be links below this video that go to a TikTok channel or other places where I talk more about it. But I've been through some trauma in my life. And dealing with readers actually triggered that trauma for me. It didn't matter how much it paid. Being a best-selling author was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, in hindsight. I've been where you are, and I've made money in various forms, selling digital products, selling physical products. I've been successful. The problem is finding something that I wanted to be successful in. These days, there's no reason why any of us should have to pick something we don't even enjoy just to make money at it. I completely believe that if it's something you enjoy, that's your path. And I know we're all conditioned to have a job that we hate. If you enjoy it, there must be something wrong. You have John D. Rockefeller to thank for that. He started the General Education Board back in 1903. Which led way to our public school system. In private school, people are taught to do what they love, to be business owners. People from affluent upbringings where they went to elite private schools. I'm not talking about necessarily private schools and church basements. I mean college prep private schools. They are taught to do what they love. That's why so many of them end up being actors and musicians, because their parents saw that talent in them early on and sent them to the right schools. And they had the money to pursue their dreams. A lot of us didn't grow up with that. I grew up poor, down what we call a holler in Appalachia. The first person in my family to go to college. Paid for my own braces, so I didn't look like a hick anymore. I know what it's like to be held back by the way your teeth look, the fact that your family doesn't have any money, the fact that I even went to college. My own dad thought I was just reaching too high. Proved him wrong. But these days, there's no reason why any of us can't do what we love. The hardest part is finding what we love. Because what it boils down to is to get that first thing up and running and making money so that you can have money to invest in something else that you want to do. You're going to be creating content. So let's find what kind of content you want to create. Because if you really knew what you loved, you'd already be doing it probably. A lot of people already are. Why haven't you done it yet? Most likely, don't know yourself well enough, afraid of failure, afraid that you'll be successful at something you don't like I was. That's held me back a lot. I've stumbled into success several times and regretted it. But honestly, I think the number one reason what holds a lot of people back these days is attention deficit disorder. Whether you've actually been diagnosed with adult ADHD or ADD, doesn't matter. I personally have. I am on prescription medication for attention deficit disorder, and it does help. What does not help, I think this is something we all struggle with. It's too easy to get our dopamine fix from just picking up our phone and, for example, scrolling TikTok's For You page. How many hours have you wasted on that? It doesn't have to be TikTok. For most of it, it's this short form social media, these videos, or maybe even long form. Maybe you sit and watch long YouTube videos all day. Regardless, we exist in a world now where we have this device, and we all have them, whether you're using a tablet or maybe you're watching stuff on your laptop, but we all at least have a phone. And it's just too easy to pick it up and to see what's going on. Like, our attention spans are trash. Unless it's something we really enjoy. We have to really enjoy it. It feels like a curse. I've even heard a lot of people describe it as a spiritual attack. It feels almost like a war we can't even win. But personally, I think it can be a blessing, because when you find that thing or things that you enjoy so much that you don't want to pick up your phone and go to the For You page or wherever it is, then you know you've picked your true calling. You've found a dopamine source, a reward center, something that makes you happy enough, or something that gives you enough motivation that maybe that's your true purpose. And I am crazy enough to believe, because it's happened to me, if you follow that thing, the thing that you actually love, whether it's buying earrings or even gambling, online gambling, something I've never been into, but a lot of people are. If it's just a hobby that you're into, it can even be something you're ashamed of. that could be what you're supposed to do. Doesn't matter what it is, you can find ways to do that and make money with it. Here's what I suggest. I'm going to walk you through a process where we look at how you're spending your money, how you're spending your time. I'm not going to worry so much about your skills or what you know, although that can come into play. That's not where you want to start. You want to start with what actually makes you feel good. Could be helping people. I mean, I do suggest that it's not something where you're trolling or spreading hate into the world. I just don't think anything good comes from that. Because unfortunately, anger can be a dopamine source. Please stay away from that. It's not healthy for you or anyone else. When there are so many other alternatives, you're going to be rewarded for putting good things out into the world. So let's focus on what makes you happy, fulfilled, what helps others, what helps heal you and helps heal other people. Even if it's just something that's fun for you, even if it's just you're addicted to TV, start a YouTube channel about the TV shows you like. It's that simple. It's all a matter of just being consistent. It's not nearly as hard as you think. So what I'm going to do is walk you through a process where you just pick one thing and try it. Kind of like a test kitchen. How many times have you heard somebody say they would open a restaurant? People have these fancy ideas in their head. I can't tell you how many times over the years I've heard people say that. I've been out to eat with someone and they'll look at the decor and, well, if I had a restaurant, my dream restaurant would be to have tables that look like this and a menu that does this. But the truth is, watch TV shows like Kitchen Nightmares or Hell's Kitchen or Bar Rescue, where somebody had that dream and it kind of went sideways on them. Because that restaurant isn't something you just do when you feel like it. If you want to make a full-time living at it, that restaurant's going to be all day, every day. You're living and breathing that restaurant. Maybe you have an idea in your head for a podcast or YouTube channel or a book you want to write or even just a TikTok channel. You just know you want to get followers, so it'll lead to something. A lot of us get in our own way by thinking we have to have the finished product. I'm going to use the metaphor of a pizza kitchen, a pizza restaurant. You don't even know what ingredients you're working with, what equipment you have yet. You're getting in your own way. Think about how many different types of pizzas there are. You got Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, delivery places, restaurants. You got fancy places. You got Chicago deep dish. You got New York style, Detroit style, like Little Caesars. You got Cece's Pizza, Pizza Buffet. And then you have frozen pizza. DiGiorno, Red Baron, Great Value Walmart brand. There are just so many different types. Or they're the kind you make yourself from scratch, right? I grew up eating the really cheap Chef Boyardee in a box. Came with a little can of Parmesan cheese. It was like poor people pizza. But you made it yourself at home. You don't even know what your podcast would be about. If you start with the end product, it's like thinking that right now you're going to go into your kitchen and make a delivery style pizza when you don't even know what ingredients you're working with. You don't even know what kind of pizza you want to make yet. You don't even know what kind of box it's going to go in. You don't even know if you're going to have a sit-down or a delivery restaurant, or maybe just made to order. Maybe your pizza kitchen's only open once a week. I hope you see where I'm going with this. If you haven't even started it, or maybe you have started. Maybe you're like me and you started 50 different things, but I can tell you right now, you got to focus on one thing at a time and get that up and running, and then you can focus on something else. But it's all going to start with that one thing. Let's figure out what ingredients you have. Let's figure out who you are. Let's get your kitchen organized. Figure out what kind of pizza you even want to make. You might decide you don't want to make pizza. Maybe you've never even made pizza before. How do you even know? When you get in your own way thinking it has to look like that TikTok follower who already has 1.2 million followers, or that New York Times bestselling author who's already written 10 books, or someone who has a podcast and has been doing that podcast for several years and is very successful, you're looking at that person. You think you have to be there. You think that's the starting point. How do you even know what kind of pizza you're making until you make the dough, until you get your toppings together? Let's make a pizza and taste it. Figure out if you want to keep making that pizza. I'm going to walk you through how to do social media, let you a taste of it, kind of like a DIY kit. Kind of like if you did go buy a pizza kit at the store. Or, for example, I had a successful handmade jewelry store on Etsy. I had to stop doing it because I got sick. Around the time I got sick, I realized I was also burnt out. I don't feel like doing that anymore. I was miserable. Once again, I had worked myself into a job. I was miserable. When I found something new in jewelry that I wanted to make, I will start with a DIY kit, Walmart or Michael's or some craft store. If I enjoy making that DIY kit, then I can go back and get the wholesale stuff and make it much cheaper. But that DIY kit showed me whether or not I even wanted to make it. It got me started. So that's what we're going to do here. We'll start with a do-it-yourself kit. I'm going to give you what I'm going to call recipes to get you started. But first, let's take an inventory of who you are and how you're spending your time.